She's your?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And the one again?
Yeah.
Hata kama wewe ni PA sema tu wewe ni PA. Wacha tujue kila mtu. Tuanze hapo mwisho.
My name is Lucy Walter from Kamotwede, PA2 for Madam Fresia.
Okay.
That is all. I'm Lucy Walter. I'm Fresia's PA.
My name is Fresia Muranga, running for Muranga, Independence. The hottest house in Muranga.
Good afternoon. My name is Grace from Katara,
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Fasin Jerry, incoming member of County Assembly Board, Independent Party.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Haka. I am Catherine Mheshimiwa.
Bado tumekwama.
My name is Margaret Njuki, PA2.
Good afternoon. I serve the authority. My name is Eva Jerry Mwenja from MP Madiwe.
Good afternoon.
What party?
I'm in ANC.
Good afternoon. My name is Susan Yaga, PA to Madam Hiva. Sorry? Habari zenu? Nzuri. Kwa jina naitwa Melanie Mongale. Company channel our DG.
I'm standing in for one of the women rep aspirants, Isabel Kemani.
What party?
Usawa kwa wote.
Habari zenu? Naitwa Jane Kamau, yetu Isabel. Is good?
All the time.
I'm Alice Wamuyu, Kahukwat, candidate of Jubilee Party.
Good afternoon, everyone. Naine mwega. Naende ciothe. I'm Monica Chege, Jubilee Party candidate, Kegumo Ward, Kegumo constituency. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is America Wanjiku Kamau, incoming MP Kangema, independent.
They are here.
Good afternoon. I'm Ivona Mboi Koturi, MCA aspirant Kegumo Ward.
What party?
Chama cha kazi.
Good afternoon. I'm Meles Wanjiru from Birwad, Farmers Party.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Naomi Kakonde, the governor, Jubilee ticket, and I'm glad to be here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are laughing at me. Good afternoon. Sorry for being late. I was here before you. By 9 I was here, but I had to rush somewhere. I'm Wejera Dungu, nominated MCA Muranga County, but fine for Kahubwat with Usawa Kowote with the Esau na Usawa.
Hi, I'm Olin Mugani Kimani from Kimbune Ward, MCA aspirant, independent candidates.
Good afternoon. God is good.
All the time.
I'm also from Kimbule with my sister, and my name is Nancy Mugai, and I'm vying on independent party. Oh no, independent. I'm independent. It's not my
Habari ya waheshimiwa, Ismail Magidani Kabore, kami MCA Mudhidi na kibrede hali ya usawa kwa wote.
Good afternoon, everyone. God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
I'm Faith Nyanchui, commonly known as Joya Bue. I'm a candidate for Kegumo parliamentary seat on a farmer's party ticket.
Good afternoon. I'm Brenda Josephine, by MCA Mogoro Ward, with ANC.
Helen Kigia, the gospel artist. Applying for Senate through Farmers Party.
Good afternoon. This spirit Muranga Shukia, I is Moroni went forward, a product of Honorable Sabina. She's my mentor, and I'm proud of you. God bless you.
Thank you. My name is Julia Nyokabichege from Kagina constituency, and I'm a candidate at the Democratic Party of Kenya, and I'm sure we shall win. Thank you so much, Honorable Sabina. I copy her on everything. I think some of you don't even walking styles. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Let us clap for ourselves. First and foremost, I want to thank the Kiwapa team. This would have happened mapema sana. We really had scheduled for this event before nominations because I wanted to meet all aspirants, and we had planned for this so that we prepare you from selection of the party, you know, all these things going through nominations, then what happens after nominations, whether you get it or you don't get it, whether you make a decision of being independent or not independent, and to where you are now, then of course then preparing for the elections, then there is life after, isn't it? Yes. Because we are all going in, praying and having hope that we'll win. But if you don't win, then what happens? Yeah. And how do you position yourself maybe in the next 2, 3, 4 years, all right? Yes. Mine is very brief. I've been told to give you my brief. And I think my story is known, very known out there. I'm Sabina Wajiroashege. My home is Kigumo, Kinyona. That's where I was born and brought up. I went to high school in Mugori Girls, and then University of Nairobi. I'm a teacher by profession, my first degree. And then I did a master's in communication. I did a second master's in leadership and business management. Currently, I am pursuing my PhD. I've finished my coursework. I'm now doing my research. So that's brief. I'm a mother of 3, and I love my country and I love my county. And I like encouraging women to go there and there, all right? I didn't think I would be in this kind of leadership. I started working from the first year in my university in the media, and that was my first, I would say, working with the public. My first year in the university, Kameme started and I started broadcasting in Kameme, but I was a student, so I used to go to school up to 5, then I go to work from 9 to 2 a.m. And that's how I was able to finish my university and finance my university education. But before then, I was a house girl after Form 4. Because I felt I didn't want to stay at home. So that mashani from September, October, November, December, January, February. Don't know December, even to Gashamania and Adoria class 8, like so I thought, let me change the environment, and that's how I chose to go to Nairobi. And I chose first to go and work as a house girl. But in the meantime, then, I was an actress in high school. So I walked to ABC. I didn't know Nairobi well. I walked to ABC. I asked whether I could join Tausi. Luckily, there was a person who had left, and we looked alike, and somehow we spoke the same, but we didn't want to get so here, Mombasa. And you can imagine, through God's grace, I was able to be taken in. So by the time I was going to the university, I was already acting as Rehema Watausi. All right. I was doing sales, painkillers, slums, but the slums of this new dawa, this was a painkiller by a company called Alcohol. So we slums, What go at 8 or 9, then you be picked at 4 at a spot. So the whole day you go Slamuki market. But through God's grace, we are where we are today. So what I want to tell you is so I'm happy to see Jago. I've seen people talking about you on social media. So I'm very happy to meet you, and you're also from my constituency. And each one of you, I know I've interacted with the majority of you, some of you we've not met, or we have met, but we have never had one touch. I want to congratulate Dr. here for being at least the first woman to be nominated as a deputy governor. So I'm proud, and I pray that you win. I'm not here to compete for it, but for sure you know my stand. But I'm not here because of my political party. When we become women, we become partyless. And we now work and forge towards making sure that we achieve our goal. And the reason is, once a woman is on the table, our interests are taken care of. So my first instinct to politics was on 2012. I was not actually to buy. The new constitution came, and I was in the media. So from Kameme, I went to Worldspace Africa. I was their business development manager. Then I rejoined KBC again. I was in KBC as an artist, rejoined 10 years after as a controller of all commercial radio services. I was in charge of 18 radio services in KBC. Shoro FM was one of them. So once in a while, when the presenters would go on leave, I would go in, or somebody gets sick, I would go in and assist. And in this time that I was assisting broadcasting, then my boss, who works in the county now, you know, the finance executive, however, David was my boss at KBC, and he's even the one who employed me. Thought I was a good presenter. I said, you continue. I left the work of presenters. So I moved in to help because I was not being paid an extra salary, to be the breakfast presenter at the show, and the show went up. So within that time, I was still doing mentorship. I started my foundation, Sabina Foundation, and we're doing a lot of mentorship work within the county of Muranga. I started, of course, with my own primary school, Kenyona, and I started, across. And we did a lot of work when I was in Shoro. And when the new constitution came, but back kidogo, 202, I was still a student, and I was a follower. I loved Uhuru. He didn't know me, but I loved him, and I used to see this young guy who was come up. So me, I was like a follower of Uhuru, and I could just take my vehicle and drive and just follow him wherever he was, and report back like in my station and give news. So those people used to think that Uhuru was paying me, but he didn't even know what work I was doing. I was just a supporter. So I remember one time we got to Kangari, we were just going from Safara. Then I saw a guy from Jamaica come out. So he asked me, do you know this guy? I said, I don't know him. And since I don't know him, and I'm in the media, I don't think he will win. Because anyway, then it was incoming. And of course they didn't win. Then 2007, when I got my new job, I went for Thanksgiving at Kangari Parish. Then I met Jamaica again, and he was like, are you buying? Because I was very active, and he said, why are you not telling people you're buying? I said, I'm not a politician, and I'll never be. So I decided I would support him. But one of the reasons why I decided to support Jamaica, I remember, and I gave this story somewhere else, I was driving, and I was listening to Jogua Joroge in the morning. Then our MP then was in the studio. And then somebody called and said, so then he said, then somebody else called and said, the people from those areas. Then he said, I said, this one, we need to change. Yes. So then, among the many contestants were there, so Jamaica was young, Abli, and they told these people, this guy can even be made a minister. Looked sharp, he would represent as well, and I chose to support him unconditionally. So I took Jamaica, and because I had the edge of the media, I got the musicians for him, I got the roadshow track, I would mobilize people, we go and just support him. And people would tell me, where would I get that one? Then I would ask them, So then we requested me to walk it out. I told them, no, me, I'm not a politician. So with that God, we won. And I never went to Jamaica office. I never went to ask for any favor. I think October, that was 2010, when people from my village came and said, which is now a brainchild and a school I won't call Bishop Latimo, that we have developed with the community here in Kenya now. We have a girls boarding school. And so I went to invite him. I just called him and said, whatever. I said, okay, the rest is history. That's the only time I actually now went to see his office, and I even knew Parliament. Throughout my media time, I never went to Parliament, neither did I even desire to come in at Parliament. So I was not really interested in politics. But then when I started now doing this breakfast show, I interacted with many politicians. 2007, when I joined KBC, and then I was the manager, and of course you know the post-election violence. When everything was happening, it was being reported fast in the media houses. And by the fact that I was a manager, and also my presenters did not manage to come to work, so I found myself in the studio and picking all these calls. And I was totally disturbed. Even when the people of Kiambao, they were being banned, I was there, they called, they said, we are surrounded, we are calling the police, we are calling OP, and we're trying to say, please help. When everything was happening, we are like on phone, and it was traumatizing for me. So after that, we started now going to the community, the IDPs camp. I started mobilizing, and I worked closely with the Central Kenya members of Parliament. They had a caucus, and the chair was Ifri Maina, who is now vying for governor. And we mobilized for food, resources. I remember at one point there were some IDPs that were being moved, I don't know, from Nakuru, PTA Kodo, like and they didn't even have water. And so we had to first mobilize the Batatu people. Mama had to magi amawo. The mahi omoda, na boko rekipia is a funny name, which even depicts. So you but there's a heck for a that's audio. It is audio, but there's a kakadi picture on a dena will give. I'll get you the name. We're going to the Wayomeri camp. And because they had been given land, they wanted to go, but they didn't have means to go. So my baby goes now. Then we were called and we were told these guys are walking. So we called the Matatu people and said, people, please offer your vehicles. So then when they got there, it was just the car. And they had no food, they didn't have water. We had to mobilize even bulldozers to take water to them. And it used to be hot during the day and then very cold at night. And it was totally an experience for me. So we worked with the members of Parliament to see how we can be able to assist those people and just settle them. And I remember the kids who were back at Kiamba, they were brought to me. And it was bad. You remember when the brain was exposed. So we had to look for ways to take those children to the US. And when we started fundraising, KRA came in, and that was my first time when I went to State House. Because now with this team of Central Kenya MPs and some musicians, then we went to flag off those children. We were invited by Tugo and Sikibaki. And my first time I entered the State House and sat in a boardroom, I was like, hiya. So to cut a long story short, we went through the post-election, and so fast forward 2011. So the people of Kegumo came and said, you came and told us to vote for Jamaica, now we want you back. I told them, hiya. And I know that maybe a few people who would know Adu, Purity would know Adu, the late, and was the other lady, Warega, the light band. So they were like my parents. They came and said, we want you to come. I told them no. One thing, I cannot campaign for somebody to get in Mwega, then Okakubate. Okakubate, so you see people also feel like I'm lying. You know, they don't get Mwega. I was very vocal in campaigning. So how do I then come and say, so they really told me, give us, we're giving you 2 weeks, think about it and want to support you for Kegumo. So after 2 weeks when we met, I told them, there's a position there women rep. And if you think I can be a good member for Kegumo, this one is a member for the entire county. At least I had an advantage of being in the media. I had read the constitution and understood the positions. So I told them I want to do the women rep. And they had a big group. Muranga Forum. Muranga Forum was a forum with there were current then councillors. Some of them were former, and it was a strong group that was agitating for coffee then. So they had a big forum. So I remember one day when they were trying to fight for coffee reforms, there was a big meeting at Blue Post with all the cooperatives, Shia Kahoa, Marioka, Blue Post. Then, on behalf of women, I was told I was given a chance to speak. And I was like, as one card. So me, I'm speaking in front of who? Uhuru. So then he was a deputy prime minister. And of course, then he was now vying for a presidential candidate. So I remember I spoke. But one thing I remember I told Uhuru, because then the ICC thing was hanging, so they had come. I told him to get it. You know, when you talk on it, but when you tell him to come here, I told him, you get your president, and everybody was like, who is this guy? So that was my first instinct now in public, and like trying to agitate for the rights of Muranga people. And from there, many of us, we started the journey. And everywhere they went for forum, then Mishuki the late wanted to buy for Senate. So he had gotten this forum, and they were doing the grassroots meetings. So they were doing meetings per ward. So they could invite me, my ward, I appear, Yekabota education. Kamagomi the Horwani Constitution, Yigashamakadina, then they said, eh. So I say a slogan called Gaka, Negaitu. Alright? So with Gaka Negaitu, everybody said Gaka Negaitu. But then, being Muranga is very patriarchal, and of course the story of Wangwa Makeri, I knew that entry to Muranga politics is first handling yourself. Number two is dressing. Me, by the time I was coming to politics, my friends, I used to wear my crotomini. I remember the first time we went to Catholic church. I had a nice green suit. No, not to hide it. That's how I used to dress. And then I said, these people to win their hands, I have to humble myself, one. It is really also uncomfortable for you. And number two, how would they embrace me? I said, I don't know, Murembo, Adake, those Miji, all those names. They said, I don't want to go through that route. I want to be Maito. Because I want to be the Maito County. And that's how now, back again, then, Maito County started from 2013, and I packaged myself as Maito. And even if today, any other woman rebuying, they want to call themselves Maito. But I am very happy because in 2017, I had now to put the rate for Maito in the ID. So my official name now is Maito Sabina Wajiroashe. Because at me, so then when you would argue Maito name for a women rep, women rep is not Maito. Even all these people saying I'd rather go get the care with Maito account. You take the care with Maito account, you rather get care with. That is the position. Maito is me. And I'm proud of that name. So I had to adopt it because people would argue, who is Maito? So it was not official. So after nomination, I went and changed my ID. So my ID today reads Maito account. It has not been an easy journey. Because being the first woman rep in Muranga County, when we went to parliament, we didn't have a kitty. You get to the parliament, you are having the same salary, the same members of staff with a member of parliament who is getting 140 million per year. I knew you were getting zero. And in Muranga, when we did the first campaign, I got 409,000 votes. I got the highest percentage of votes in Kenya. I got more votes than Uhuru in Muranga for my first time. So the people's expectation was very high. Now, governor who got less votes than me has all the money. He has 6.5 billion. He can afford to employ ward reps, and apart from now, the salary ahead. So when I did my first Thanksgiving, because I had to get something, like, where do we start now? So I started at table banking. I called Ruto to come. It was a DP. And I came and I told him, now, I want to raise funds. We started table banking. We raised, I think, around 7 million then. But before COVID came, that for banking, we had now formed a base of more than 100 million with the women. And how we have approached this is that if you have a group and you have record that you've been doing table banking or doing some project, then we give you funds. And we give you funds for a year, but you return the same amount without any interest. That means if we give you 100,000 and you are lending to your members 10% per month, that means you're making how much per month? 10,000, isn't it? So we have given you 100,000. So every month you're making 10,000. So within 10 months, you have already made 100,000. So within 1 year, you have made 120 with that money. So when you return 100, you already have 120,000. And then you can continue multiplying the amount. The group that took that seriously, even today, they are very strong groups. Some of them have bought chambers, have done great projects. You know, and we also went through training on how to save and what not to give. You must prove that there's somewhere you are taking that money. We were not also not lending even for school fees. Unless you want to do a biashara and you want to pay your school fees. Because once you lend for school fees, then what will happen? So it was something to multiply, and that one really gave me a good base. But myself, Christian Yokabi, Kajuju, we asked ourselves, what do we do? Gladys Wanga, either to agree, there were no DM Hasuwani, then TNA URP. We decided as women we can't afford to have party lines. Otherwise, we are all suffering and Zuka in because my children are called when I came nothing. So even I think even for the first 1 year, there's a time I was admitted in hospital. Because the demands are here, the people's expectations are here, you have used your money, you have a loan you have taken, so what you do, so when you go to parliament, you take all your money, that's how the life, you know. So then you can remember Priscilla one day, your cabin. I thought what happened to how can I give us 3,000 and 2,000? Priscilla, I'm in the county. If I have 60 Harambes today, so 60 times 2, I've already given 120. No, give me every Sunday 120. But people expect where we women rep. Minimum. You know? So you also have to cushion yourself about the pressure that you get from the community and the people. Sometimes you might go out of your way when you look here. And that's why you see advocates, oh, I don't wish you were who is this? So as you advance yourself, as you get into leadership, also remember you have a family to take care of. Remember you have your personal life to take care of, and your children, especially as women. The men, they have the luxury. Imagine you know might take a man wash your ratio. Especially the young girls who are getting into politics. So you will have young families. So how do you then take care of your family, take care of the leadership expectation, but most importantly also something called personal improvement. If you are in school or you've not started, when you get into leadership, please make sure you get a certificate and a degree. And I'm ashamed of now the discussion that is going on about prominent people at the moment struggling with a degree. It's a shame. Our parents didn't have access to education, but as who have, it is important. I want to pass on a training, certificate. You know, even through online. So as you work towards empowering the community, also empower yourself. Because you never know about tomorrow. If you have some papers, you can go present the papers and you can be able to do some work. Yes. So it is important for us as women to balance. Now, another shock is by the time you get into leadership, then people start talking about you. When you never showed interest in any leadership, nobody cared. Nobody cared at all. Where you drink, what you eat, where you sleep, how you wear, nobody cares. But by the minute you get into leadership, no one has any interest. We will start asking who was your first boyfriend. And unfortunately, men use women to fight women. Very good. Unfortunately. So, I also want to ask you that you have sacrificed going to public service. Have a big heart. Otherwise, so growing more to depression. Shukari yuko haisa. Dakamene utegera na no women. At some point, no women. And for women, the higher you go, the more enemies you attract. Yes. Both women and men. For men, the higher they go, the more friends and admiration they get from both men and women. And especially from women. Yes. Yeah, women. Yeah. Yes. No way. If you're married, have a conversation with your husband before you get into this. Have a conversation. And a very open conversation. For the first thing, you will go, you will get late, you will hang around male friends or colleagues. So I can't get to the understanding. Take the understanding. So it's good to have a genuine conversation and say, look, I am going to public life. And also cushion yourself. Just cushion yourself. And as I've told you, from a simple thing as how you dress, you will be judged so harshly. I wouldn't. Because everything you do, you are under scrutiny. So also cushion yourself. So, as you are told, when we got into parliament, first time, the committee. So if you're going to the assembly or you go to the National Assembly, understand now the roles, how many committees are there, which committee does what before you get there. So talking here, as you are told, okay, we have these committees, choose two that you want, or you would get choose two that you want. So then you're like, which committee then do I choose? Which one? You think budgets, energy, education, I don't know what. So there's totally that confusion. What's that committee? Yes. So number two, as you were told then, we had URP and TNA as a coalition. So they were told, like some committees, this one, the chair will be URP, the deputy will be TNA. If you're not in the main party, if you're in a minority party, there are only two committees that can be chaired, which is public accounts and public investment committees. Only those two. Those are the only ones that are chaired by minorities, or I would say, for lack of another word, opposition. All right? But the main ones all are chaired by the leading party. Yeah. So now, how then do you position yourself to be a chair or a deputy chair? So first and foremost is understanding which committee, because you also, especially for MCAs, where you come from, if maybe it's agriculture, if something about cooperatives, so you position yourself, and so you're able to even budget for the committees where one allocate finances. If it's the governor or the president, through the ministers, might have a budget. So you sit in the committee and say, okay, this is the priority. Then you can remove, edit, whatever. So the final work and the final budget should come from you, not from the president, not from the government. Are you getting it? Yes. So are you able to actively participate? A lot of work is done in committees. Even when the bill comes, they are scrutinized at the committee level. What you see us in parliament is a fighting or whatever, the last thing. But a lot of work, amendments, everything are done at the committee level. So I beg you, when you go to parliament or to the assembly, don't be a person who can't say that you want to work here. For allowance, we do. Then you have really done the service to the people who elected you or who nominated you. Because that is where the work is done. So my experience when I went to parliament, one, I had a very rough time. A story for another day. For me to settle in the committee I wanted. And finally in the committee I was given it's not what I wanted. So I remember I was very upset. And when I sat, because I was changed like in 4 committees. The ones I did, the first time I was allocated different ones, then another time I was allocated. I remember when I was going home, I left myself, I think it was East African, and I think primary services or something. And I was thrown. I said, okay. I went home and I said, in East Africa, there was a position of the chair to be TNE. So I knew I'll keep quiet, I'll go just buy over that position as a chair because of ambitious from the one. Then, the following day when I came in the morning, I found myself I've been put in education. It changed overnight. I don't know which other one. I think CIOC. Yes. And I was upset. And I remember, Dwale was our majority leader. Kato Lemetito was our whip. So I told Kato, and remember he's a Maasai. I told him last night, these were my committees. So who have put me again in these committees? And why am I being moved? Right, front and center. You know, he looked at me and said, oh, Mama in the mother. Imagine by the way, wewe mama. Tuwe hata kwa kiwalaki uliulizwa, uchague, sisi wakati wetu just on our something committees. So I said, yeah. It's not like it's a favor you're doing to me. Every other person have chosen. Yeah. Then I remember I asked wale, "Paka mimi na watu wa Muranga na siasa zenyu wachane na mimi." I'm like, "Hi." Tena ni siasa za Muranga. So I started and told him, by the way, I don't need to be in any committee. Don't even give me any committee, and I will not. I'll serve my people on this floor. I don't want to be in any committee. Then, and I was upset. So when the names are brought to parliament debate, and then you pass the names first. We debate, pass the names as they are most of the times, and then now from there, then you are now sent to your committees to go and do the elections of the chair and vice chair. So what happened? Millie, when you were debating, Millie of Yama, Millie said, Millie, her visions, she wanted to be in commission, okay? Parliamentary Service Commission. And she was the most senior lady from the room, elected. She had come in as nominated. So she felt that she deserved to be in commission. Then what happened? She was not put in the commission. The commission was given to Gladys Wanga, who was a newcomer and a woman rep. Number 2, she was not given any other committee. She was only given one committee called Agriculture Committee. So clearly somebody was also, and she was upset. But she said, you know, Mr. Speaker, I've been given one committee, only, and every other member here has 2, some even have 3, others 4. But if I again, let me also tell you, you cannot serve in more than 2 committees and serve effectively. So even if you plan, you're lucky that you get you plan for the assembly, make sure that the way it is done, I know these people are having 5 committees, that a member can only have 2 committees. And if you are chair, you can only serve 1 to be effective. So Millie said agriculture is what we need back home. She's from Suba. And she said, I've been put in that one committee, but I'll serve my people so well in that committee. Then somebody asked me, Sabina, how is education in Muranga? You are now command number 43 out of 47. You're doing very badly. Then I said, okay, maybe God wants to use me to change the education in. I just texted Catholic Amabit, okay, he said you come to see me, I see in the office on Monday. It was on last day, I remember. So I said, I texted him, I said, I'm okay. So he didn't know what I meant by I'm okay. And so, come Monday, the whole weekend, people now that were in the committee started lobbying. I want the chair calling, I'm interested, I want chair, please support me. People lobbied the whole weekend. I remember Monday is when our education committee was supposed to meet so that you choose the leadership and then one the card. I walked in the morning with a customer. Then I found everybody, they are sitting there. I said, what are you guys discussing? They had somebody with a note, right? Said people who are interested in the position, okay, chair anatoka TNA, vice chair anatoka DOP. So I asked them, is my name there? Somebody Sabina wacha unataka. So ukasema unatoka you the chair. I said yes, I want to be the chair. And we had many people who had already lobbied the entire weekend. So tulienda pole, elimination. Finally, I told them, you know, you people, you are all old, I'm the youngest, education is a lot of children.